One question which I found very difficult to answer is asset allocation, or the questions which people ask saying, Subra, I'm 60, my income is likely to stop, and how much money should I have in equity? Now, this question, unfortunately or fortunately, is not so simple as it sounds, because what this person is asking is, if I put so much money in equity, what will happen next? So, does a person need to put money in equity at the age of 60? Absolutely yes, he has to, or she has to have some money in equity to match the inflation which might happen over the next 40 years. Is inflation a big grief in India? Last 6-7 years, from say 2014, it has not been. And no, I'm not attributing it to NAMO, I'm attributing it to Raghuram Rajan, who's brought in the concept called inflation targeting, and he ensured that interest rates did not go down too much, especially protecting the senior citizen, right? So there is some product available from RBI which pays 7.15%, and there are national savings certificates which you can get the interest after 7 years, 8 years, whenever it matures. So those are the debt instruments which are available without any great upper limit, because in your PPF there's a limit of 1.5 lakhs. In all those other post office schemes there will be a limit. There's a 15 lakh rupee limit on the senior citizen savings scheme. There's a 15 lakh limit on the LIC's Bima Yojana, the pension, Atal Pension Yojana, right? So depending on all that. So first of all, I would think if you're 60, you should invest your money in senior citizen savings scheme and in the Varishta Bima Yojana, or the Atal pension plan, right? You should invest in all those things, and after that you should see how much money to put in equity. Now this question is again difficult to answer, because many people won't retire at 60. I have a classmate who has gone on to the board of one mutual fund, one life insurance company, and he's on the board of another 2 companies, right? So between these 4, he will get enough cash flow in terms of sitting fees to meet his day-to-day expenses. In fact, he will continue to have a surplus where he will continue to invest, and these board posts come up for renewal once in 10 years effectively, for otherwise till then he'll get re-elected. So 10 years means he will be 71 by the time these posts are over, and given the shortage of directors in India, independent directors, there's a good chance that he will keep getting something. So till the age of 75, I think his cash flow is taken care of by sitting fees alone. Apart from that, he's got dividends, he's got some bank fixed deposits kept for emergencies and things like that, which allows him, which will create enough money for him that he will never touch his principal for the rest of his life, right? Because by the time he's 75, his dividend income will be so great that that dividend income will be sufficient to meet his day-to-day expenses. So if that is what is going to happen, obviously he can have more money in equity, because the ability to take risk is high. Similarly, somebody who has got a huge corpus, suppose there is somebody who needs 2 crores for retirement, but he has got 14 crores or 15 crores. Honestly, what he does with his assets will not matter, because only up to 2-3 crores if he's got, if he's managed. Beyond that, all the money can be in equity, right? So then when you're talking of 15 crores, out of which only 3 crores in bonds, or even less than 3 crores in bonds, you're talking about 10-15% in bonds and 85% being in equity. Now don't look at that as a rule and say you can have 85% in equity. Of course you can't have 85% in equity if you've got 2 crores. Then you have to have maybe 15% in equity or 17% in equity, because protection of capital becomes very important. Whereas a person who is 100% provided for in terms of deposits and things like that, debt instruments for the rest of his life, and does not need anything, or a person who has got sitting fees, he's got annuities, he's got royalties, he's got dividends, just that is 3 times or 4 times his annual requirement. For him, obviously he need not worry at all about what is happening to his total portfolio, because it's adequately provided for. Similarly, if there is a person who does not have children and who is indifferent to what happens to his money after his death, he will behave very differently than somebody who thinks it is absolutely necessary that he leaves a sizable corpus for his children, or somebody who is very worried about his health, or her health and says, I need to provide for something extra, right? So based on all these things, people will decide how much money to be in equity, how much money in debt. And also a person, it's very important for people to realize that beyond a particular age, equity investing is very difficult. Even if you are investing through mutual fund, how much to keep in large cap, how much to keep in mid cap, if these are questions which have to be answered regularly, you have to be worried about the mental and physical framework of that person. At 58 or 55, you're not going to be able to judge how you will be at 70. In fact, Ken Fisher says all the investing mistakes of his father happened from the age of 70 only. It started happening, and it took a very long time for them to realize what's happening. Ken himself is around 70 now, so I do not know how he's reacting to that news, but my reaction would be, by the time you're 70, all your assets should move into annuities and index funds, because the ability to switch may be going away, and maybe you've created so much wealth that you don't need to worry about wealth, you need to worry about something else, or you need to enjoy about something else. So based on all this, you decide how much money you want to be have in equity, how much money you want to have in debt. But I don't think you should stop investing in senior citizen savings scheme and Varishta Bima Yojana. So put away 60 lakhs there. So based on after that, how much is left? Is it 1 crore or is it 10 crores? Based on that and your own requirements, if your requirements are 40,000 rupees per month, then that's not high. But if you're supporting parents and if you're looking after your parents and that requires high maintenance costs, etc., then based on all that, you will be careful. You will have to have a corpus which has to meet big emergencies. So you will have less money in equity. So it is a process of you learning how much money should be in equity, how much should be in debt, how you would react to something like a March 2020 situation 5 years later when you're older and you are less confident of earning more money. So some money should of course be in gold, some money should be in debt instruments, and other money should be in equity. So how much money should be in gold? Please understand one thing. In March 2020, for some reason, if you needed cash, whatever reason, absolutely unanticipated, you didn't anticipate this, and you had money in, say, ultra short bond fund of Franklin Templeton, and you had gold, and you had equities, what would have you done? Your ultra short bond fund was stuck, it was not available, it was just not liquid. So moral of the story, when you are in debt, have in high quality debt, that portion for which you seek liquidity, because in debt you're there just seeking liquidity. So if you don't get liquidity the day you want it, what is the point in having liquidity? So some liquid fund, some ultra short bond fund, I'm repeating this, but maybe in 2-3 fund houses after what we learned from Franklin Templeton. Gold, because during this time of when the market hits a crisis, your bonds also perform very badly, so your liquid funds also could take a hit. Sorry, not liquid funds, your debt funds could take a hit, your liquid fund won't take a hit. But one thing which was doing very well in March could have been gold, because of all this geopolitical crisis. It was a fantastic time perhaps to sell gold, not because from a timing point of view or because now I'm saying the prices has fallen, but simply understanding that during a panic and a pandemic situation, one asset whose price never falls or always keeps going up is gold. So some gold to meet those requirements, some debt instruments to meet some more requirements in case there's a loss of job, etc., for 3-4 months expenses at least, maybe 10 months expenses, whatever, keep that, and other money can be in equity. So choose your asset allocation depending on the level of thinking that you have and the understanding that you have. Thank you.